We're the indie project Bea and Theo, and we've been living and travelling the world in vans for the past 6 years. We're currently renovating an abandoned stone barn in Portugal to turn into a beautiful tiny home for us and our cats Gingy Bear and Fernando. Follow our journey from the very beginning as we document the whole process of creating an off-grid home.
Good morning. It's a wonderfully humid morning. As I'm sure you can tell, my glasses are trying to steam up, and they've been doing it all morning because we had rain yesterday and today it's sunny. And actually, Fernando's doing his usual trick of getting beneath my feet. What are you doing? What's up? Why are you crying? How am I supposed to walk? But today, I've got to say, is a day. Me and Theo have been looking forward to this day since we were back in the UK planning what was next on the barn conversion. It's probably the most important day, or week I should say, of Theo's pointing career. What are you doing? Come on, chop chop. It's worth noting that before we came here and started this build, Theo had never in his life worked with stone, and he pointed this entire wall first, and it is just stunning. And the wall he's doing today is the inside version of this, so it's the biggest wall we have and it's going to be an absolute centerpiece. Theo has already started work masking off the beams, because the lime, if it touches the beams, it does stain them black, which does add a nice rustic look to it, but we'd like to avoid that really. And up there, basically last night, to the height of this scaffold, I cleaned all of the stones so they're nice and clean and ready for pointing, and it really brought out the definition of them. And today, whilst Theo's pointing, I'm going to be down here finishing the cleaning. The stones down here aren't as bad. The ones at the top that were put in by the builders, because when they were delivered they were covered in loads of mud that had caked onto them, so it's actually quite good to have got that off now. And Theo's got a big job ahead of him. This is a big wall, but this is a marathon, not a sprint, so he's going to take his time and enjoy the process, aren't you? You're going to enjoy it. And this is the stuff that I use to clean the stones. It's an acid that I got from Aki, Acido Muriacico, and it's very, very dangerous stuff. You've got to wear gloves, mask and eye protection when you use it, but it gets the dirt off really well. And as you all saw in the other video, it got off the black stain from the smoke really well as well.
Thank you. Welcome. The time has finally come. I'm sweating buckets. It's a really warm day and I'm up high. Been running around like a madman because I'm actually really excited to get on this. Ever since we started this project, I've looked at this wall and thought that is going to be very, very nice, pointed. It's going to be a real feature in our home. So I'm excited to get on with it. I'm going to wet all the joints of where I'm going to be working first, and then it's going to go quite slowly to begin with because I'm working around really technical, tight areas around the ridge beam and around the rafters, and I don't want to get lime everywhere. And if you're interested, I'm using the type of lime I'm using NHL 3.5. That is what we plastered the walls with. Came out really nice, and I really like the natural tone of it. This is not going to be lime washed or coloured in any way. It's just the natural tone of the lime.
Shoot across the room.
I'm done for the day. I'm really happy with the progress actually. One day and I've done a fair amount of stuff.
You've done tons.
I've basically done what we've added to the actual wall. So before, the wall was probably about here, the gable height, and we've gone up quite a bit, which has made such a massive difference in this barn. And it's just been nice spending time in here actually today. It's been nice and cool inside. I'm in the shade. Outside was really warm today, but I'm so happy with progress. It's looking amazing. I haven't actually stepped back to have a look at it, so I'm excited to do that.
You need to come on from now.
That is nice, isn't it? Wow, it really frames the stone so much.
It does. Look at the transformation of that.
And the fact that they're now clean, I can see what you've done. Like, they stand out even more. And no longer will we have like rats, mice, hedgehogs, pelicans.
Lizards, you forgot lizards.
Lizards.
Spiders.
Living in the cracks. It just looks so much better already. Imagine when that's finished.
Wow. Wow. Honestly, wow.
Day 2, I'm pointing the internal gable end wall. And when you walk in now and you look up, it looks so nice. So nice. Because it's inside, it's going to have not a lot, well, pretty much no sunlight. It's shaded, which is really good for lime. You want it to dry out as slow as possible. That avoids cracking. And also if it dries out too quickly, sometimes it can go a bit crispy. But I just wanted to go over the mix that I'm using for the lime. NHL 3.5, I'm using a 3:1 ratio. So that's 3 sand. The sand I'm using is like, I guess here it'd be called like a yellow sand.
Yeah.
So it's like the yellow sand, which is like a fine sand, which obviously makes the mortar a lot smoother. And then you've got 1 part lime. So to point this whole wall, probably won't use a whole load of lime. Basically, up until now, I've only used probably half a bag of lime, which is amazing.
You've done about a quarter of the wall.
Yeah, but the holes and the gaps do get thicker now. That is the new part of the build that we built onto the gable. And now we're going onto the older stones, bigger holes to fill. It's more time consuming. But I'm just going to have fun with it. I'll probably stick a podcast on and off I go, pointing away. But it's so nice.
You described this texture yesterday as like hummus.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty nice description, I'd say. It's kind of moussey as well.
Yeah, it really is like mousse, like hummus. I've been changing the mixes, and this is how I know that I've developed and got better, because before I'd just do like a mix and it would just be, well, I've mixed it together and that's ready to go. And now I'm adapting the different mixes to what I need to do. So at the top, when I was working around the wooden beams and the rafters and the ridge beam, I mixed it drier, and that way it's a lot easier to work in like small, tight environments.
It's more pliable.
It's more, basically I can, if I do end up slapping it onto the wood, it doesn't stick. And then as I move further down, now today I want a really like hummus sticky mix that's really just going to stick into the gaps. And when you're adding water into these gaps, it's almost like a glue. So you throw the mix in and it hits the water, and that kind of binds it and ties it together. It also stops shrinkage, because lime and mortar, it will want to shrink over time if it hasn't got any water. So you feed the stones full of water and the gaps full of water, and there the lime can draw the moisture through that and therefore not shrinking as much.
I've got to say, from cleaning the stones, I've noticed that obviously the top ones that you pointed, they had mortar in between them already, whereas these lower ones, it's mud. Does that affect it?
Exactly, yeah. There's still, so I haven't took all of like the dirt and the old lime and the old mortar that's in between these stones, because that's what's holding the wall up.
A couple of inches back.
But I've raked out, yeah, at least a couple of inches back in the joint. So then when we do point, like I'm doing now, it really just strengthens the whole wall up and also looks a lot nicer. But I better get on with it, seriously.
Sorry, I've been asking you loads of questions. So the best way we've found is to take your mortar out of the actual mixer, otherwise it dries in the sun. Keep that in here so it's the nice same room temp. Put it in a bucket so you can carry it up the scaffold. And actually, yes, you can. I can see it. You might not be able to see it, but I definitely can. So I cleaned this top section the day before last, and Theo's now pointed it. And last night I cleaned from this down to this, all the way along the wall. And I can tell the clean stones, because these ones down here, they've got layers of old dirt and stuff on them. So it means that now they're clean, Theo can go all the way across. And actually, now that I'm at kind of ground level with the cleaning of the stones, I'm going to continue doing that whilst he's pointing, just on the opposite side so I don't get the mortar landing on me. Whilst Theo's pointing, and I will do some stone cleaning after he's moved over so I don't get the mortar fall on me, I thought I'd show you how well the drains did during the rain that we had recently. So the rain did not touch any of the stones. This drainage up here did an absolutely fantastic job, did what it needed to do, and ran all the way down here and into the down pipe, which collected it all and shot it down, and I'm going to show you where it all went in a minute. But it's really nice to see that with the simple drainage method that we've put in, all of these stones here, which had been an issue before, were completely protected from all of the rain that had previously just come thundering straight down. And because the wall was straight, it wouldn't touch here, it would land straight on there, and then it had the perfect opportunity to just seep through the stones and inside. Now that doesn't happen, it's brilliant, and we will be installing a French drain along here in the future, but for now this works really well. So coming around the other side, gravelling that down worked brilliantly, the pipe hasn't moved at all. And then it went all the way along here, perfectly down here, and because it's downhill there was no issue at all, it just ran nice and neatly all the way down here. And I'm going to show you what our plans are for here now. Hello Gingy Bear, he's tangled up in the bushes. Sun bear, aren't you? Where I'm standing right now is along the path where the tunnel of water goes. You can see the barn is behind me, and this is an area that we've long thought, what could we do with, and our plan is to create a really nice natural open water pond where the rainwater runoff can go to. So we've got lots of ideas for things we want to do with the rainwater collection. It doesn't rain that much in Portugal, but when it does rain, it produces an awful lot of it. So it'd be really nice to be able to keep hold of the water, and also we'd really like to have a pond. So that's definitely a project for the future. Where I am right now, really beautiful views, downhill of the barn. I'm just next to a pine tree, and it's really lovely. So I think it'd be a really good spot actually, or maybe a little bit further down. It doesn't have to be exactly where I'm standing, but the general area where I am, lots of openness and a really good spot to be able to put a pond. So right now where Gingy's chilling and Fernando's looks like he's digging to do a crap, which is lovely, is the area where we're thinking a pond would be quite nice, maybe slightly further down the land, but the barn's just there, the water runs all the way down, and it would be a really lovely location. This is actually where the soil that was dug out from there was dumped, and we've been using that in the raised beds. We didn't discover any cat poo at the time, so I think this is a new discovery for Fernando. Hopefully he doesn't start using this as a litter tray, but I wouldn't be surprised knowing him. But it would be really lovely to have a pond in the future and have some frogs living in it. I spoke too soon. He is taking the pee, I think. Hopefully not a poo. The tail's not twitching like it normally does. No, just doing a wee. Fernando, you have no shame. Look, Gingy's turned her back on you. I'm going to turn her back on you as well. Another exciting development is Theo levelled out and prepared the IBC from a vegetable garden. So the vegetable garden is just through these bushes, and that's where the pipe work's going to go, because we're going to create an irrigation system. But now the IBC is wonderfully level, which is fantastic. So I'm excited to get that filled up. Need to put something over the top to stop debris and things falling in. But once that's done, my plants have got enough water to last quite a long time. And even though it's a building site and that hideous sofa needs to go, I do absolutely love this view. Oh wow! He's made amazing progress! Wow. Wow. Just can't go over that. Wow. I'm gonna go and start work here now, cleaning, because it's obviously moved over to that side, so time to get cracking. Just be careful this time.
I'm nervous.
At least you've got gloves on. Whether that does anything.
Fernando.
Sounds so sad when he cries.
Fernando, come up here. Come on. It's nearly 7 p.m. It's been a long day, but I've managed to achieve exactly what I wanted to, and it's going way quicker than I ever imagined. I've definitely got quicker at pointing, but me and B actually remembered that the inside wall is nearly a meter less width, because obviously the wall is half a meter thick either side, so that's an extra meter that I don't have to point, which is just excellent. But I'm so happy with how it's looking. Check this out, guys, look how this is looking. I'm absolutely blown away. You can see I pointed all the way down to here. I don't know what this fly's doing, it keeps flying in front of the camera. Bee's down there, she's working away, cleaning the stones with that stone cleaning solution, and it's working wonders. It's done such a great job, and it means that now the stones are pointed, they're really popping because they're nice and clean, they got no dirt on them, and I just love the contrast. Obviously down here is still a bit wet. I did this morning and then the other half this afternoon, but the contrast between when this is a white wall and the pointed wall, and then where our kitchen's going to be down there, and then our little like lounging chair with a little bookshelf. This is my dream. This is literally a bothy. I just thought I'd jump down from the mezzanine and show you some details of the pointed wall. But as I mentioned from up there, this is going to be a lovely bookshelf. I can't wait, with a nice chilling lounging chair right here. But you can see these are the stones and the gaps and how it looks unpointed. So it's all a bit higgledy-piggledy, a bit all over the shop, and the pointing really ties it in together. And then if I show you the details, you can see the difference right there. I just absolutely love it. It's turned out so much better than I thought it was going to be. I knew it was going to look nice, but it's just turned out perfect. And we're keeping this right here. We've got one hole over there which would have been used for the scaffolding poles. They would have used old like eucalyptus wood, tree branches basically, to hold themselves up to build this place. So these are why these are here. And this hole here, we're going to use it as like a little mantelpiece. We can put stuff in there. And then the other one is just a hole straight through for a window. But look at that. I'm so chuffed with it. And for everyone asking what the view was like out of the door, it's basically just hills and greenery and trees. Absolutely love it. I've just spotted that Fernando's hanging out down there. How's it going?
So good. I'm nearly at the end. Look, I've got about 5 stones to go and that's it.
Explain the process.
So I've found the best way that works is to basically water down the acid quite a lot. So it's mainly just water, but there's a little bit of acid in it.
You're doing like 10 to 1?
Yeah, 10 lots of water. Can you stay away? 10 lots of water to 1 lot of acid.
You do not want to drink that acid.
Don't. And
Come away.
I paint it on because that gets it really nicely into all the bits in the stone, because obviously stone is quite porous and there's all ridges and different parts to it.
Yeah, you can see this stone here.
Exactly.
Look how mottled the stone is. So with a paintbrush that gets into all of the gaps.
Exactly, and I had been spraying it on, but I didn't like the fact that it kind of rebounded off, which is pretty sketchy, especially because it's acid water. So I've been doing that, and then I let that soak in for a little bit, and then I just rinse it off heavily. I'm talking a lot of water until the water comes off clear, and then that's it. And you can see the stones from all the way to the top where Theo's worked. They just look really wonderful, if I do say so myself.
And I've got a big hole I need to fill in here. I need to find a really nice stone that matches these aged mottled stones. Job done.
I've just finished pointing. I've just finished cleaning. I'm not the one doing the pointing, as you all know. That's Theo's job. I've just finished cleaning the stone wall. It's all clean now. My job is done, and all that's left is for Theo to point. It looks so good. Thank you for joining us on today's video, and we look forward to seeing you on the next one.